Activity 6, Exploring Canadian Housing Trends. So the data has been uploaded on Layer. What you simply need to do is to take a look at this first, second, and third component of the analysis. And if you want, you can read more about the data. I downloaded the data from this link on the website of Stats Canada. So we want to perform trend analysis. So what we are going to do, as it says, identify the overall trend in total housing stats. So note this, we are talking of total housing stats in a given Canadian census metropolitan area. Actually, here we said compared to Canadian cities. So you can choose any 2 Canadian cities you want, and you want to compare the total housing stat, how it has changed across time since 2000 to 2024. So the number of houses which they started. This is the first analysis you have to do. The second one is for you to compare the housing stats, it's still housing stats, for the different types of houses. You have the single detached, semi-detached, row units, and apartments and other unit types. So you will compare it. The comparison, you will basically use a stack bar chart or a line. I will go for the 2. I strongly recommend you do both. And then the last analysis, you want to analyze the change in housing units under construction for each housing type. So across time, you want to take a look at how the housing units for each housing type has changed across time. Here we were focusing just on one, housing stats, but here you want to take a look at all the other ones. So I assume you've downloaded the instructions and you've also downloaded the data set. Once you've done that, just do what we generally do. Do not double click the Excel file. You should open an empty Excel workbook and then import your data as we've been doing. That's the best practice. When you get used to that, it will always make life easy for you when you're analyzing data. So I'll click on data, go to get data. Our data set is an Excel workbook. It's not a CSV file this time. So I'll click on Excel workbook and I'll navigate to my download folder and I'll click to import it. And once I import it, I'll go to transform data to make sure I have the right data set. So here we go. I'll click. If you click here, you'll find there's no data. We don't want to take that. Anyway, it's actually the same. I don't know why it duplicated. It doesn't matter. Just click on that. If you can't select it like that, check that box and then you can check that box with no problem. Okay, any of them works. Click on transform data. That's the best practice. It gives you the ability to take a look at the data, and if there are any issues, you can fix the issues. So what we want to take a look at, we want to first take a look at the data types to make sure we have the right data types. Here it's date. We can see it's date type, ABC for region, ABC for indicator, ABC for type of units. Values have to be whole numbers because we are looking at the numbers. So you are counting units. There's nothing like half. So we are using whole numbers. It was whole numbers. You don't have to change anything. So the data is clean, nothing to be done. Let's go to home, close and load to, and we'll say okay and accept all the defaults. Now once we go to Excel, it's going to import the data. Once we get to Excel, we are going to pivot it to answer the first question. So I'm going to shut this down. I don't like it being there. I'll click anywhere inside my data, go to insert, pivot table, from table range, okay. And here, the first thing we want to do, given that we are counting, we will take value, put it where we have values, and leave sum. We want to keep sum because we want to count the number of houses over time. When we were dealing with things like, there were other measures we used, the average, but here we will be using sum. Okay, date always goes to O. You see how things change across time. And now if we come back to the first question says you want to take a look at total housing start across time. So you will choose one particular city. You just want to see the total for this type over time. So let's go back here. What you will do is you will take region and put it where there is filter, and then you will go to indicator and put it here. When you put indicator there, it gives you the ability to just choose one of them, because we want to take a look just at this one. Actually, it doesn't really matter. Okay, you can put any of the two. Now the last thing we want to do is to insert some slicers. I'll click on slicer. Now slicer is found under pivot table analyze, insert slicer, click on region, click on indicator, and then OK. You'll have your two slicers here. Actually, we don't need region. Okay, so I'm going to right click and remove region. We don't need region, we need something else. I'll click in here, pivot table analyze, insert slicer. It's actually indicator and type of unit. Okay, those are the two things we need. I'll put them somewhere here. We have space, I'll put it there. Then now I want to generate my chart. So I'll go to, click anywhere inside, pivot table analyze, click on pivot chart. I will use a line chart and I will OK. Now we have not yet selected the particular region. For you to select the region, just come here. Okay, this is why we put region under filter. You have the filter here. Click the drop down arrow, click select multiple, click all to uncheck everything and choose any place you want. Okay, let's say you're interested in Saguenay or Quebec. This is Quebec, in the province of Quebec. So the province comes after and you have the name of the city. Okay, so feel free, choose anyone. If, for example, we decide to choose this, we will OK. And now we have to go to a slicer and make a particular choice. We said we simply want to take a look at housing start, so we will click on housing start, and this will show us how things have changed across time for that particular city. This, so you'll change the name and you put for Quebec City. You can see the total number of houses they've started, how it has evolved with time. We said you should do it for 2 cities, so you need to do it for 2 cities. However, if you actually wanted to see both cities here, if you wanted both cities on your chart, you will get rid of indicator. You will actually take region and put it there. If you put region there, now we need to filter it so that we keep just 2 regions. In that situation, we will click here, go to pivot table, insert slicer, and insert region. OK. And now we will have a slicer for region. We need to expand it and increase the number of, I will say 4. Then here you have Quebec City. If, for example, you want to add Calgary, hold down Control key, click on Calgary, release. Then you can compare the number of houses that were started, okay, not constructed. If you want to see, if you want to do this for your personal game, housing under constructions and so on, you can play with that, but this is the requirement. This has selected everything. We've seen all the other things. If you want, you just choose only total units. We want to see the total units for housing start and for those 2 cities. So this is what you do for the first requirement. If I were you, I'll do this for the first requirement, but you need to label everything, copy this and put it on a Word document. And I'll go back to housing stat to answer the second question. Click anywhere inside, go to insert, pivot table, from table range, okay. And if we take a look at the second question, it says compare the trend in housing stats. So here it's for the different types of houses, okay. Here you will have to generate two charts, the bar and line chart for each of the different cities you will choose. So I will take value, put it where we have values. I'll put date where we have row, and I will take type of units, put it here, and I will add the slicers. So I'll go to insert slicer. I want a slicer for type of unit, for indicator, and that is it. Well, let's also add a last slicer for the region. Put it there, increase the size so that you can fully see what you are doing. Okay, now I'll click there, go to pivot table, analyze, pivot chart. The first chart is this one. I'll take the stacked, I'll take the stack. Let's see, blah 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 blah. This is better. Okay, put it there. You can increase the size so that you can see how things are going. You can see total unit, blah blah blah, but you've not yet chosen. So if, for example, you choose Abbotsford, you click there, you want housing stat, and you want for the 4 types. Do not take total units, okay? Click there, hold your control key, and click all the other ones to add them. Do not add total units. Then you can see what happened in Abbotsford across the year. Now, it becomes interesting if you now put a line chart. So I'll click in there again on my data set, go to pivot table, analyze, pivot chart, take line chart, okay, and then put a line chart so that not only we have the stacked column chart, but we have the line chart to see what happened in Abbotsford. If you want to go to Ottawa or you want to go to Quebec City, you can actually see what is happening. For example, the apartments, these are the ones they've started building the most. What's happening to this color, the semi-detached, actually it's been going down. So if you see in 2024, you can clearly see the amount of houses have dropped. Why? There is a clear explanation. If you are taking my basics to macroeconomics class, you'll know that there's something that is happening when interest rates rise. Investors can anticipate that people will not be able to buy as much as they could have been buying. So you may have things like that. You may have the number of housing stats going, and when you have things like that, it may tell you that the economy may likely face a tough situation in the coming months. Now, this is just for one city. At times we need to do that for a whole country to be able to arrive at such conclusions. Okay, so this is for one city. You should do that for 2 cities of your choice. Okay, and that's it. So the last thing we need to do, go back to the data set. We need to answer the last question. Here it's housing under construction. So you want to look at things by each of the housing types, still for the 2 cities of your choice. So let me get rid of this. Click anywhere inside, insert, pivot table, okay. Take value, put it there, leave it as sum. Date, put it where you have rows. Now we want indicator, put it under column. And now we are going to go to pivot table analyze, insert slicer. We'll take region, indicator, type of unit, okay. And we want to increase the size of region to 4 columns, put the other ones there, and then we want to insert a chart. I'll click anywhere there, go to pivot table analyze, pivot chart. I'll take a line chart, okay. And you could do exactly what we did in the previous one. So here, let's say we take Halifax, and we said we want to do it by, we want to observe the different type of house. Well, let me go back there. So we want to see, here it's actually houses under construction. Okay, it's analyze the change in housing units under construction of each housing type. Okay, it's exactly the same thing, but the difference here is that you are just dealing with this one. Okay, so actually you should get rid of indicator from here, click, drop it outside, and bring type of units there. Now we want to get rid of total and select each of that. Hold down Control, click on all of that. But now you want housing under construction. You click on under construction. It's going to show you the houses under construction in Halifax. Now we want to generate another chart. Click in there, go to pivot table analyze, pivot chart. We want to take that. If you want, you could actually try this one, okay, but I will stick to that, okay. And there we go. So this is the situation in Halifax. You can see these are the houses under construction. You can see what's happening to the other ones, okay. If you want, you can get rid of houses. This is for your personal analysis, not for the exercise. Once you get to this point, you are done. Copy it. This is for one city. Do the second city. So actually, I'm expecting 1, 2. I'm expecting, well, 4 charts for this question, 4 charts for this one. So 2 for each city. And here, just, yeah, this for one city, and so basically 2 charts here, 1 for each city. But for your personal playing, you could, if you get rid of apartments, if I hold down Control, click to get rid of that, I can much better see what's happening to the other ones. Apart from apartments, you now see that the ones they've started building the most, you're looking at the single detached units. Then the semi-detached, the lowest belt, the row houses, that's what you have. So it's interesting. Have fun, and this is not what you should submit. What you should submit is this one, okay. And I will see you in class.